Hello everybody, welcome to Burke, Virginia's small compost operation, Future Acres Urban Farming. We have a few small compost piles in the making, one that is complete, one that's almost complete, and one that's relatively new. This is our newest one, a new method. And then here is our expansion plan with a static aerated pile. Holes on the bottom of the pipe will be connected to positive flow air source. And then the feedstocks will pile on top of each one of these pipes. Air will be blown into the bottom of the pipes and then out through the top of the piles. This will be once we have more compost to process. But for now, 1, 2, 3, 4 little piles since about the middle of last year. So let's see the newest one. Can still see some cabbage here. Still recognize some of the inputs, so you know it's not nearly ready yet. I will say it's nice and warm and it smells great actually. This is some good smelling compost. Maybe some sections will be anaerobic, but otherwise looking good. These don't break down too easily. This pile is almost ready. Been letting it dry out a little bit. Still some these are relatively new wood chips, so those will be filtered out in the process, but this is nice and cold. It's done. It's got that finished soil amendment smell to it. Guessing game. Pineapple, that is correct. So now let's see the finished pile. It's been done for a couple months. I'm letting it sit. This is the good stuff that's ready to go. You can see it's already got seeds coming out of it. Seedlings starting to grow. See all the bugs, all the wildlife. See if we can find some worms. So we got some bugs, a bunch of microbes, see some fungus in here too. Beautiful. Stuff is ready to be filtered and bagged up. That is a millipede, not a worm. Should probably let that dry out a little bit, take the top off. You can see some nice broccoli sprouts popping through from our microgreen trays. We compost everything. We compost our microgreen products, any unused microgreens, all of the spent dirt that we use, organic of course, food scraps from Northern Virginia. We did about a ton last year, and for our first time doing it for only a couple months, it's not bad. We're already over a ton this year, which is good. Okay. So what we need to do today is we need to turn the newest pile and the brand new, I forgot what this is called, what kind of system this is called, but it's a 10-foot hardware cloth, rolled up, sealed together on the ends poorly. So it's got about a 3-foot diameter. It's about 3 feet high. 3 or 4 feet high, I can't remember. But again, this is one of our collection weeks. It's about a week, like about 10 days worth of food. A bunch of wood chips, a bunch of dry leaves mixed together. Added some water. It's actually time for these to be taken out. See some nice mold on there. Means it's nice and moist in there, which is good. This little hole that this stick created will allow air in. You can add as many holes as you like, as many logs and branches, as many holes as you need. Probably could have done more, or bigger ones. One big central one is a popular method. One big central hole, PVC usually. Yeah, there's a bunch of mold on there, which is good. It's a good sign. Bunch of fungus, different fungus. Great. That's what you want. So, easiest way that I found to turn these piles regular drill, nice large drill bit attached to the drill, low speed. You can either do reverse, takes a little bit longer, or you can go nice and slow with a normal auger drill process right into the pile. And what we're going to do is go around. We're going to go down, back up, a couple inches over, down. We're going to go outside the perimeter. We're going to keep doing that all around the perimeter, and do a few in the middle, and then the pile will be mixed. We will determine if we have to add any water once the pile is mixed and we see how dry or wet it is. Same thing over here. Just go in at an angle, go to the bottom, drill in, pull out. And this one is nice and wet, I can already tell, so we're not going to have to add any water. But we're just going to go around the whole pile, and then at the end we are going to rake it back in on itself, so it's not completely spread out. It'll be in a nice big pile. Cover that one back up. Come over here, do the same thing, mix it up. This one's got about another month to go, I would say. We're going to take this cover off, let this cover dry out, or let this pile dry out. Put the cover onto this pile. Keep some of the moisture in for a little bit. Let it do its last part, last month worth of decomposition. Cover this one back up. This one will probably be done in about 2 months, 2.5, 3 months. This one's just started, but it is a lot smaller, so I would hope that this one's done in probably about the same time. Actually, I would think that this one could be done in 2.5 months. So these two will be done at the same time. Start market season in 2-3 weeks. So hopefully we can start filling these rows up. We'll fill right on top of this row all the way down with a nice mix of food scraps and wood chips and leaves. We'll go row by row. So hopefully we can either do this every week, we can fill up 1 row every week, or maybe we can get 2 in 1 week, or I really have no idea. I hope it's a lot. I hope there's a lot of interest in compost at the markets. I hope there's a lot of food scraps collected. So we'll run that system this year, get a lot more compost out of it. So this is a good start, and this is where we'll end up. So I'm going to mix the piles. Here we go. We got some steam there. This is working. Oh yeah, this is nice and hot. Wow. Working quite nicely. Nice. Wanted to make one more point about the way you can tell the completeness of a compost pile. One, you saw the temperature, the steam, the heat coming off of the piles. You do have to measure the temperature. You want it to be over 130 degrees for a few days in a row to kill any pathogens, seeds, unwanted seeds like weeds, stuff like that. There's nothing saying you can't put this on a timer and say it's all done. So there's a few indications that the compost is ready to be mixed in with your soil. One of those indications is temperature. You definitely want to have that. You want to know the temperature of the piles. You want to make sure it's getting over 130 degrees. You want to make sure it stays there for a couple days in a row, especially if you want quick turnaround on your compost pile time. I have no rush. This has been months and months and months in the making. I've measured it multiple times. There's no need for it. It's fully broken down. Another indicator is the amount of, you want to use your senses: sight, smell, taste. I'm just kidding. No taste. Don't taste it. That is a bad sign. We don't like food stickers, mostly on produce. That is why I haven't been shredding, because I don't have the ability to separate these kind of things by myself yet. I will, not yet. I'm leaving these whole so I can pick them out as I see them. So anyway, back to the indicators. Never mind. One last thing. Please, please do not throw these stickers in there. Thank you. Okay, back to the indicators. Sight, you can tell it's relatively close to being done when, one, you got some seeds growing out. You got some seedlings. We've seen those before. You can see them all over. And two, when there are no noticeable inputs that you put into this pile. So you can see some of the leaf, the skeletons of the leaves. Sure. You see maybe some wood chips. This is pretty well decomposed wood chip. I mean, you can't even tell it's a wood chip. But there is almost 1 ton of food processed in this whole thing. And all that's left over, maybe a couple eggshells, which can be directly put into the soil. I don't see any avocados or watermelons or broccoli crowns or meat bones, anything in here. This is a good sign. This compost has been broken down very well. The worms have had their chance to go through it. They've given a lot of time. There are going to be pits, avocado pits, stuff like that, which, again, I don't even try to break down. I don't try to shred. I don't try to break them down. Here's one. But this will not grow. It's been in the pile for months and months and months. It went through the heat process. If it grows, it's a very resilient seed, and I haven't seen them sprout yet, but there are a few of them. Those are going to be filtered out anyway when we bag them. So those will just go right back in the compost pile. Hopefully those are inoculated with some fungus and some bacteria that will transfer to the next pile. So that is one of the indicators. Another indicator is smell. It's going to smell just like dirt. It's not going to smell no rotten smell, no anaerobic smell, no putrid, rotten vegetable smell. It's going to smell like fresh dirt. Like if you were go to dig your shovel in your yard right now and lift up a patch of grass underneath, you're going to smell the soil, and it's going to smell just like this compost pile, which is a good sign. All good indicators of finished compost. Oh, this used to be a corn cob. Cool. Okay, indicators, your pile's not quite done yet. Unbroken down wood chips, non-decomposed. Some vegetable scraps or some additional inputs that you see are not broken down yet. Again, I didn't even try to break this down. I just threw it in there, but it actually started growing. So I might even take this home, plant it in my garden. Garlic and onions do really well in compost piles, especially in a good compost pile. They will sprout right out the top, which is pretty cool. This would have to be chopped up, be put back into the pile if you don't want to plant it. But there is things that, like I say, this is some cabbage. You can just tell what it is just by looking at it. It means you're not quite done. There is a lot of, it smells great. The smell's really good. It's there. There are a lot of broken down black leaves, like all the colors out of the dry leaves and all the moisture. It means it's breaking down nicely. We do have some sprouts coming out of here already, so you probably could use this. It's definitely not done yet, but there are definitely some sprouts coming out of here. So it's got a few of the indicators, but not as much as I would like. So it's definitely not done, but it's close. I'd say another month or a couple weeks. Signs your compost is definitely not done. None of the indicators are really here. Oh man, another one. Here we go. No stickers, please. Thank you. Stickers and actually rubber bands. Those little rubber bands they used to tie the chives together, those are not good either. Those are all over the place. But I don't chop anything up, so it's easy to pull out when I find them. They'll be filtered out because they're kept whole. So pros and cons to chopping up and not chopping up your compost. Food scraps before they go in. Indicators. The smell, it's not putrid. It's definitely aerobic, especially because I just mixed it. It'll stay aerobic. But you can see even the color in these leaves are still dry. They're still nice and brittle. They'll keep going as time goes on. You want to keep the pile moist. These leaves will be mixed in, so they'll break down nice and quick. No stickers, please. But you could definitely still see a bunch of this is our microgreen trays. Some of the broken down microgreens. We already cut these. This is all the soil and the dirt, the soil and the stems that are going in the compost pile as well. But you can tell there's a bunch of food scraps. You know what they are. You can even pick them out. There's some flower stems, stuff like that. So a few of the indicators. I mean, not really all of them. The bags will relatively. The bags take a while to break down, but they will break down. So if you want to do it quick, you need a lot of active input. If you want to make it easy, you need a lot of time. So choice is yours. But those are some indicators of your 3 stages of compost completeness.